Yeah, the public interest is also should be taken into account to close a company or to wind up a company. The general public, when they are not interested in a company or when they insist that a company should be closed, then immediately the tribunal has to close the company. That is, we'll come across the compulsory winding up of a company. Next, payment of dividends. When a company when it fails to pay the dividends to the members of the company, then also the company is said to be wounded up. That is, the tribunal will give an order to close the company, and thereby the company also he has to it has to oblige and it must be closed. So this is also one of the important things that we come across when we go for the winding up of a company. Now, after this, what are the consequences that we come across? Suppose if a tribunal order a company for compulsory winding up, then the consequences also we have to take into account, because one thing you have to keep in mind is, okay, formation of a company and for closing of a company, you have to follow the legal formalities laid by the court of law. So it is very difficult to start a company, and at the same time, it is very difficult to close a company, because so many people they will depend upon that company. So when you are going to close, when you are going to close the company, or when there is a compulsory winding up, so many people living on that and depending upon that, they will suffer a lot. So, what are the consequences that we come across when you are going to close a company? First, the consequence is the first and foremost consequence that we come across is, first, intimation to company liquidator and registrar. First thing is, when you are going to close a company, compulsory winding up, or when a tribunal when it orders, first thing is the liquidator and the registrar will get effect. That is the consequences. The liquidator he will come and he has to take the pain, and sometimes the liquidator he will feel that it is too cumbersome for him to take into account the assets as well as liabilities and differentiate them, realize the assets, and then payment to the creditors. So it becomes a troublesome job for that person. Similarly, a registrar. Okay, when a company is registered, and when a registrar when he gives guarantee, or when he gives, okay, approval, then also he will think that the company should run. But when the tribunal when it orders for compulsory winding up, then the registrar also he has to look after so many things. Okay, whether the company is running profitably or whether it is running under losses, what are the values of the assets, what are the values of liabilities, how the company is, and what are the things that will affect the registrar. Okay, when it is a compulsory winding up, it is not a one day job, it will take some days. For example, if you take into account the IDPL, at the IDPL company, it was wounded up, but still the registrar he cannot able to give, because whatever it may be the assets that the IDPL it is having, they are not resellable. They are not resellable. That is, they are not realized in the open market. No one is coming forward to purchase the assets as well as the plant and machinery. So in that case, the registrar he has to suffer a lot. So first the consequence is, okay, the liquidator as well as the registrar. Registrar to perform certain duties. I already told you that. Okay, giving an order is easy, but implementation of the order it will take time, because the registrar he has to do some duties, he has to perform some duties, and everything he has to look after and everything he has to take into account. Then only he can go for further proceedings. So it is very difficult for the registrar to do the activities or do the duties within a specified period of time. Okay, the tribunal will give an order that this company must be closed within certain period of time. Like that, they'll give. Okay, it is not the headache of the tribunal, but it is the headache of the registrar because he has to do some duties, some formalities he has to complete, and then only he can approve for closing of the company. Stay of suits on winding up order. Suits. Okay, the company, in the beginning, when you go for a company, the company can sue others and can be sued by others. So, whatever it may be, the suits that the company is having, okay, whether on it or on others, it has to complete them. It has to complete them. So, you have to go for stay of suits on winding up of order. Okay, so next, directors to submit books of accounts to the liquidator. So the board of directors, they have to submit the books. Okay, how many years books he wants? Okay, no one knows that. Okay, suppose if the liquidator, if he asks to submit the complete records, it becomes a cumbersome job. It becomes a difficult job for the board of directors to take into account all the books. Okay, so all the matters they have to look after. Generally, when you go for a company, what they will do is, in order to eliminate all these things, they'll keep the records separately. Every year, they'll keep the books and records, everything. They'll keep them because we don't know when the tribunal is going to give order. So, in that case, it is very difficult for the board of directors to go in search for all the records, registers, all the books, vouchers, everything. It is very, very difficult because it is not one day's job. It will take so many days to go for the books, records,